Good evening. Welcome to Captive Audience. It is the last day of January, and boy, this month has flown by. I'm Sunny Danforth, but we are winning bigly because of Donald Trump, our president, Donald J. Trump. I had to put his picture up with me tonight. I wish he was my guest. No, he is not. But we are winning so much. There's so many good things happening. I realized before we get started into tonight, there, um, please pray for the people in Philadelphia. In Northeast Philadelphia, there's been an airplane crash tonight and lots of fire. There's definitely injuries, and I'm sure some have lost their life. So keep those in your prayers. And so I want to talk about the crash, not the one in Philadelphia. I don't know anything about it other than it was a jet, a Learjet, from what I understand, with two people on board. And but keep those people in your prayers. But the helicopter and the plane that crashed in D.C., that was an utter failure, an utter failure. And this is the thing, is when you work in the field of to ensure people's safety, and you have a collision like this, it's not, well, maybe it's this or that. It's there's nothing is okay about it, is my point. It is an utter failure of public safety. And I have to tell you that that's all started under Obama. He is the person that put the DEI in the air traffic controlling. We have to open it up for everybody. I can remember hearing him talking about DEI and enacting this. And then, of course, and then Trump stopped it. Biden put it back. But it absolutely started with Obama. Obama owns this, and Biden owns this. To then have, and I feel sorry for the air traffic controller that was on duty, only one person that was on duty when there should have been two, but that was his boss's decision. Very poor decisions. They should both be canned. I hate to say that, but I'm serious. They should both be canned because that was an utter failure to lose 67 people. And there's going to be more coming out about it because they've got the boxes. But and today, Trump signed a new aviation safety directive to eliminate DEI and prioritize merit-based hiring. Actually, he signed that yesterday. And thank goodness. It is the DEI game is over, and everything needs to be merit-based. Thankfully, it's getting out of public safety. It's going to get out of education. Yes, there's going to be a lot of people screaming about it. Oh, no, this is discrimination. No, DEI is discrimination. And having that type of hiring is discrimination, and it costs lives. It costs lives in the police department, the fire department, the military, the air travel. It does. So I'm sorry for those people in Northeast Philadelphia that have another crash tonight, and I'm so very sorry for those 67 people that lost their life because of Biden and Obama's DEI hires and that policy. It's totally awful. Totally, totally awful. So I'm gonna post a link to, to this story. If I can find you here. Yeah. So, I don't know hearing that, my I have a lot of links opened up here. It was crazy. Oh, hey. Hi, Karen. Hi, Carol. It's good to see you guys. Lori. Um, it's yeah, and so Lori, you bring up a good point. We've lost a lot of super good pilots by taking the shot. And then, of course, those that got fired because they didn't take the jab. And that's a whole nother element to this. We read, we discussed even here on Captive Audience how many times. Here's another story of a pilot, that thank goodness they always had two on a commercial airplane, because one died and then the other one had to land, and maybe that was a medical emergency on this plane that was happened in Philadelphia. We don't know. It had just taken off, which is adds to the big fireball because it's full of fuel. I'm not a pilot. I'm not going to play one on television. I'm certainly not an expert on this, but I need multiple screens. You know what, Lori? I am on a little laptop, so I just look at my little. I've got a whole bunch of tabs opened up here. You're right. I'm on a low. Truthfully, I never thought that I would still be doing this going on over 3 years. But here we are. And should I get a microphone? I remember Jeff telling me, "Oh, Sonny, you ought to get a microphone." Kevin got one, and I think David got one. I don't know, but I'm just still here on my laptop. It doesn't matter. What it is talking to you guys and what's going on. And I am so. Isn't that such a handsome picture of our president? He is so serious. It's like kick ass and take names. I love that picture. So we're going to move on a little bit. The So Trump has also. There's another story on the airplanes that he said that the FAA turned away qualified controllers over race. And that is just so wrong. That is discrimination. And we are a nation that all men are created equal in. So the DEI and affirmative action is dead. And truthfully, it has to remain that way. Our legislators need to codify this, although it is in the Constitution. You know what I mean? It's like it is already. But DEI should never resurface, much like child mutilation should never resurface. So on that, I'm reading something here on Town Hall that there's been an update, to this. There's the helicopter was flying higher than it was supposed to. Apparently, maybe it was not flying it was on an unapproved route before the crash. And there's many things that don't add up, but it was absolutely, apparently, they always were supposed to have two air traffic controllers, one for the helicopters and one for the, fixed wing. And that's truly, it's human error that way. The air traffic controller tried to say, "Hey, you're, not going to hit that airplane, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got a visual on it." And I believe he was could have been looking at the wrong plane. I don't know. But the black boxes are going to tell us more. We have a lot of things I want to cover tonight, so I'm going to move on from that, from the airplanes. I'm glad that he signed an aviation executive order. No more DEI. So I want to come back here to Oregon. When on Wednesday, we talked about the public hearing on delaying the clean truck rules. Well, they had the hearing, and I have an article here from Oregon Catalyst that I'm going to get posted here for you. I should just leave Trump up there, right? He's so handsome. Why not? He'll be my silent guest tonight. Why not? But he has, so there were so many people that submitted testimony that it was opposed. Written testimony in favor of the bill outnumbered those that opposed the bill, which was good, by nearly a 4-to-1 margin. This is very good. And over 60 signed up to give testimony, and that was fabulous. So I'm hoping that the governor will listen. Say your prayers, because she really wants this green stuff. You know, they're trying to, the bill was to wait until the infrastructure bill is built, pause this for a couple of years, but they are hell-bent on green, clean stuff. I want clean air and water, but I don't want to buy an electric vehicle that's, forcing me to get that. I don't think it plays a role in that whatsoever. Personally, that's just my personal take. So kudos to everybody that filed that made a statement on that. Now, there is, this is something that we all us Oregonians need to talk to our legislators about, because the Oregon treasurer, Elizabeth Steiner, is calling for the legislature to pass a bill directing climate positive retirement investments. I'm not an economist, but I've read enough stories here in Oregon that before they wanted to go to let's have green investments, all of the state's investments, the majority, I won't say all, but a lot of the state investments were in fossil fuel energy, and that. Since they changed it to be so-called green things against fossil fuel, they have been losing money. They're not winners. So I implore you all to talk to your lawmakers to not to pass this bill, because it actually financially hurts Oregon. And the bill comes as fossil fuel investments make up $3.6 billion in the PERS fund portfolio. That was in 2021. And PERS is losing money. We're losing money hand over fist. And then when your investments are losing more money, you're not digging yourself out of a hole. And so it just needs to be invested in something that's actually going to make money for the state. So there, okay, I'm off of that soapbox. So here is a link to that ballot measure that I'm going to post from the Oregon State Legislature. So you can follow it. You can see they've had a hearing already, a public hearing, and but you can see where it's going, write your legislators, and encourage a no vote. Encourage a no vote. It is us speaking that we can make a difference on this. Here in the state of Oregon, where we are so heavily subsidized by the federal government, well, let me tell you, Trump's administration efforts to freeze federal funding has scared the daylights out of maybe the governor even, I would hope. We don't have an income problem here in Oregon without the federal government. We have a spending problem, and the spending has to be the priority of really what is it that you really need to do. And So, of course, local lawmakers in Portland are going, oh no, the federal funding's drying up. Well, unfortunately, a judge had said, no, we're going to put a temporary pause on that. And darn it, darn it, darn it, that's on pause. A court cases kind of screwed that whole thing up. But this is interesting. This is from KGW. World Relief Spokane loses federal funding, must halt the resettlement efforts following federal policy changes. So this organization was about to resettle 400 more people in Spokane from all over the world. It says they assist people in moving to Spokane from this year over 51 countries around the world, making Spokane quite diverse. And so they had actually, they were going to, since they wanted to do 750, they only got 300. And they had 177 that were ready to come in, and they had to shut it down. And I'm personally, they might be it's nothing against the people, but we've got an immigration situation to fix in our country. And so I'm nothing against the organization, nothing against the people that they're trying to help get in here, and nothing against immigrants. At least those appeared to, without knowing full details, appeared to be coming in lawfully, not coming in with, sneaking across the border, which thank God that stuff has shut down. Hi, Pat. Yes, I've got, I don't know if you started from the beginning, but I've got Trump on, as somebody said, my wingman, and he is just so handsome. And we're giving him all the credit for everything, the good things that we're doing. And our governor, Rep. Deal and Rep. Osborne, are talking about Kotek's costly mandate contradiction. And this has to do with the labor agreements from the ODOT. So apparently this article was actually yesterday. And the governor's own agency confirmed that if she said that you have to have a labor agreement, for any project here in Oregon. And she said, oh, it's going to save us money. But her own department said, no, it's going to cost 10 to 20% more. And that's where the contradiction is. And we have, Virgil Osborne and Ed Deal are two that are fighting this. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. It is not saving us money. But you see, the governor doesn't want to do that. And so they are hoping that the governor will revoke her order. But unfortunately, as Osborne says, I fear my plea will fall on deaf ears. I fear the same thing. But we should be contacting our legislators about that, putting more pressure, because Tina Kotek is going to want stuff in this session. And then you have to bargain. Hate to say it, but you have to bargain. And there has been this story I thought was pretty good. This is also from Oregon Catalyst, the Taxpayer Association of Oregon. The best homeless fix yet. And this came out on Wednesday. And it is that, there's a sprawling homeless program. And in Oregon, it's called Ground Score. Both the city of Portland and one local business district pay for this service, and it employs homeless people to pick up trash. Hey, why not, right? But now Portland finds itself in $100 million hole and plans to cut this program and get this, as well as graffiti removal. Okay. But yet in Portland, the new city council, all those, 55 or however many they've got, it's a lot. They are all, each of them, hiring four, no less, four assistants. But yet they've got a huge hole, $100 million hole, Portland does, in its budget. How are they going to do that? But yet they're going to cut. And even a local business district is helping to pay for this service, giving the homeless something to do. And that's rewarding. This is how you lift people up, actually. And then graffiti removal. When you quit removing the graffiti, all you do is get more. And yet, remember, it wasn't a few months back that the governor shut down the highway. They shut down the highway for a 24-hour graffiti removal, the interstate. And you know what? In a couple of days, it was all right back. You have to have, sadly, you have to have graffiti removal. But getting rid of more of the gangs will help with graffiti removal. Yeah, who thought, huh? Who would have thunk that? Okay, now here's a story that's going to be a little bit convoluted because I do not have an account with Portland Business Journal, and I'm not going to get one. But the story is big. It's a big damn story. Hydropower giant BPA may break from big Western utilities in a decision critics worry could cost ratepayers billions in potential savings. So I'm not an electrician, and I'm not going to play one here, but I know a little about this. And boy, David and I used to talk about electrical stuff all the time. And then I did some research when seeing this story. So what it is hydropower and transmission giant Bonneville Power Administration may break from big Western utilities in a decision critics worry could cost ratepayers billions in potential savings. Hydropower is the cheapest power that we have here in the state of Oregon, bar none, the cheapest power. But yet Oregon doesn't consider hydropower to be renewable energy. Therefore, they are spending our tax dollars, wasting it on green projects. If you didn't know, the data centers are buying hydropower. And yes, they can say, well, we're going to sell the hydropower to this one. These people or this town or this county over here, we're going to sell them this intermittent energy. So remember, we talked about it here a lot on Captive Audience when Governor Kate Brown said, be careful, there's going to be blackouts and brownouts. That's because you don't have consistent energy. And so this story is interesting because how can BPA pull out? They're looking to break up and maybe pull out of their agreements. So I can't read this story because I'm not going to pay to subscribe to them. But what I found going to BPA's website was a story about how FERC, F-E-R-C, I didn't swear, it's F-E-R-C, orders revolutionized the power utility industry. And I will post a link to this. In fact, I'll post them both, even though I cannot get into the other one. But it piqued my interest because, they go, oh, yeah, we got to have all this green stuff. And ever since green energy was introduced here into Oregon, then the rates have been going up. And they say, oh, but the rates of the green energy it's come down. It used to be so expensive. Well, it's all a farce because it's green, so-called green energy, wind and solar, and it's industrial. They're not farms, okay? It's industrial energy. Wind turbines are industrial energy development is what it is. Same with the solar panels. Like I've talked to you before, I've mentioned before, the 10,000 acres of farmland in Morrow County that is going to be covered in solar panels. And I would hope that Trump has withdrawn money, all funding, he said, for the offshore wind turbines, but that he would also go into all of the green. It's don't take up the land, put it on a building, put it on a roof of your house, make it point of use, or put it, if you've got a lot of acreage and whatnot, and you put a solar array that's for your home is great. But it doesn't pay when you have to ship it. I do have a family member that's in this industry, and he and I have talked a lot. Yes, we don't have any geothermal here in Oregon that I'm aware of, and we're not able to do nuclear, Pat, but that is probably coming. This article that talked about the FERC, two FERC orders revolutionized the power utility industry, and what it did, it forced, and these were signed, I read this article, this is 30 years ago, 1996. They issued the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the FERC, issued two orders that aimed at increasing competition and lowering power costs for consumers. But actually, it has not lowered costs. What it has done, and it was it was known as a deregulation of the power industry. And so the utility, the Federal Power Marketing Administration, they had BPA is not, this is interesting, because BPA is a federal power energy producer. It's not subject to FERC's jurisdiction, but it voluntarily complied with the orders to promote consistency and fairness in the industry. Well, what it did is it forced the utility to let other producers, you can think wind and solar, to be able to tap into their system. So what we had was an energy source that was 100% reliable. 100% reliable. Now they were forced, because of these two agreements done in 96, they were forced to allow these other energy producers to tie into their line. They had to make agreements. So now you're tying in intermittent energy with consistent energy. It makes the thing unstable. Energy doesn't work well like that. But because of that, it's actually led to more technology. And thankfully, hydro, it was not designed to be ramped up and down so much, but it has adapted to be able to do that to help keep the energy more reliable. So this is interesting. So I'm going to now circle back, not to use what's her name's Jen Psaki's. I'm going to circle back to you. I'm going to circle back and tell you back to what I was talking about. That hydropower giant BPA might break from big Western utilities. That will cost us millions and billions, actually, because hydro is the cheapest. It's like 3 cents, 3 or 4 cents a kilowatt, the cheapest. And so the greenies, the wind turbines and the solar panels, are actually costing us more per kilowatt. And it's also destructive. The wind turbines, oh, sure, it doesn't look like much what's above the ground, except for it's like a 747 or larger airplane in the sky whirling around up there. But what it is when it's in the high value farm ground, it dries the air. The soil's never going to be the same. You have got tons of concrete and steel down there. I want y'all to, if you don't know it already, solar and wind will never produce the energy that it costs to make it and to put it there. Never, never, never. Hydro has. Nuclear will. It does. The coal plants that we had with the scrubbers. So anyway, I wanted you to be aware of this. This is, I think, going to be a big story, but I'm not going to pay. Sorry. I have a lot of subscriptions, but I'm not going to do the Portland Business Journal on this one. And I tried to research it in some other sources, and I was not able to find anything. But I think this is a big deal, and realizing where these FERC orders, because this is a new story that was on BPA December 19th of 2024, of how two FERC orders revolutionize the power utility industry. So just wanted to talk to you about something that I'm sure was not on your radar. I wasn't on mine until I saw the story. And the headline came from Oregon Watchdog. I look around at them and see some other things that are going on. All right, now we're going to switch to, hey, did you watch Kash Patel? Or I did not see Pam Bondi, and I also did not see Tulsi Gabbard. I watched RFK Jr. and I watched Kash Patel's and their Senate confirmation hearing. And, the Democrats, thankfully, the Democrats really did a lot of attacking, and it just I think opened up more people's eyes. When you look on X, you just see people going, I'm done. I've been a lifelong Democrat, and after they've done that to RFK Jr., no more. Because the Democrats were just awful. We just don't treat people like that. Shouldn't. And it was kind of funny to see some of the meltdown, right? And it was just really, really good. So say your prayers, contact your senators. We've got to get them confirmed. We've got to get them voted out of the committee and get them confirmed. I did read a story, I don't know if it's true, that somebody had posted on X, and they said that, I'm sorry, I don't know who it was, but they said that, and I don't know if it's true, that, you know what, Trump's going to get his people one way or another. And we've got a lot of work to do, and Trump is doing it. I mean, he's probably getting writer's cramp and laughing all the way with all the executive orders that he is signing. And it needs to happen. It definitely needs to happen. So yeah, Kash Patel, and I have full disclosure, I've got to meet Kash a couple times. I do have a picture with him. I got my mom a picture with him, and he is just a nice man. From my dealings with him and my talkings with him, very nice guy. Something that Trump did today was, the 51 feds that all signed the letter about Hunter's laptop being Russian hoax and all that. Well, on Wednesday, we mentioned that their security clearances were taken out. And now Trump has revoked. They are not able to go into any federal building. Those 51 people, which in a story that I read said, you know what? They're not, that's going to really curtail them. They don't have security clearances anymore. They can't come, they can't lobby. You can't come. I mean, they're not lobby. They can lobby, I guess, not in the federal buildings. So they're like off limits. I would say they just got kneecapped. And I think it's a good deal. I personally think it's a very, very good deal that that this has happened. We need to. Yeah, I just think it's a good deal. We need to hold those accountable. That were lying, willing to lie right before an election. That affected the 2020 election. So I like seeing Trump holding the people accountable. That's what we all voted for. He's the man. He's the man. So I thought it just appropriate that tonight, because I'm going to talk a lot about other things that he's done, that we just have to be so thankful that we won the election. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do and holding people accountable. 30 to 40 J6 prosecutors were fired today. Yes, they were fired today. Very good news. DEI and the pronouns are dead. They have shut down a whole bunch of federal websites, and he ordered that all their pronouns have to be off of everything. And that was something personally I never used, and I would refuse it if I had never run into anybody that said, well, actually, I can't say that. I did run into somebody that said, and these are my pronouns, and I just smiled and called them by their name. I don't do that. Don't do that. Some huge news tonight, some very good news, and we have more of it. Rick Grenell, the special envoy, Trump sent special envoy Rick Grenell. He's a great guy. I've had the opportunity of speaking with him on a few occasions. He sent him to Venezuela, because Venezuela says, oh, we're not taking the illegals back. Well, now Maduro goes, well, let me send the plane. They got 6 American hostages back from Venezuela. I've seen a picture online on X, actually, with Rick Grenell and the 6 hostages, Americans that have been held by Maduro under Biden. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. So welcome home, our American hostages getting out of the Venezuelan. I can't even imagine. I cannot even, I don't want to imagine. Having traveled in Venezuela before the fall to communism, excuse me. So that is fabulous news. Foreign students that were having a pro-Palestine protest in California are getting their visas revoked. One happened to be a Chinese woman, was a picture, saw it on X, and poof, she's on her way back to China. That's what needs to happen. If you are a student in this country, you are blessed to be here on a visa to get an education in this country, then you need to work for the betterment of our country. Yes, we do have freedom of speech, but actions can also have consequences. And that is just, I'm very happy that some of these students are getting their visas revoked. I believe that is very, very good. I wanted to You've heard of that app, DeepSeek, AI, DeepSeek. Don't use it. Don't look for it. Don't download it at all. You don't want to do that. And from something that I had seen today much earlier today, and I don't know if it's true, but it apparently maybe some of our government agencies had actually used this AI app on on government computers. I pray that's not the case, because I do believe it's going to be a data mining, a clear things with China. Yes, you know what? We're all using phones made in China. And this could be listening to me right now. The camera could be on and I don't even know. I realize that. But you don't need to give them more data, especially on your laptops or your desktop or your iPad or whatever. They just don't need that. So I encourage people not to use that DeepSeek. And I hope that that was a fake story, that some idiots, but we do have people that are idiots, you know. They're the DEI. Some of them are the DEI hires, and they have a degree in underwater basket weaving, and then they work for the government doing knitting when they should be working from their home. And some of these people, I could see them doing this. And I hope if that has happened, they get caught and they get prosecuted, not just fired, because those are treasonous acts. I, for one, want to see some people convicted of treason for what they have done to our country, thinking that they're untouchable. Nobody should be untouchable. And especially with treason. Absolutely. There is tomorrow, Trump warns 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico tomorrow. Okay, I'm down for that. Some really great news. There's been a federal ban on gun sales. So this is a story from the Epoch Times. Federal ban on handgun sales to adults under 21 violates the Constitution. That's what the court ruled. The appeals court ruling is hailed by one gun rights advocate who calls it a critical win against an immoral and unconstitutional law. I would assume this is not the end of this case, but I'll take the win. You know, right now, if you're 18, you can buy a long gun, and this federal law has been that if you can't buy a handgun until you're 21 years old. Well, this appeals court ruling yesterday, is now saying it's okay. You can be 18 years of old, unless in the state, maybe you live in a state that has it that, no, you have to be 21, because this was a federal law. And if there's a state law that can be make stricter, they can do that. They can't make it more lenient than the federal rule. And then, so I call that a win for our Second Amendment. I will post a link to that one in there. And I think it's a good deal. I think that one is a good deal. Anytime we can have a win for the Second Amendment, I'm all for it. I am absolutely all for it. I already mentioned that the Trump judge has blocked Trump's federal aid freeze. Something else will happen with that, I'm sure. A top DOJ official resigns after attempted reassignment. You know, this fellow has worked for DOJ worked there for 23 years, and he worked in the public integrity section, and he was reassigned to work on immigration issues, and so he resigned. Okay, Maybe he's going to take the severance package, you know. But when I read the story from the Epic Times, I thought, well, wait a minute. Immigration issues is also public integrity, don't you think? They're kind of sort of tied together, don't you think? But apparently he doesn't want to do that. And that's going to be the way it is. So while I'm going to post an article to this here as well, if you know of anybody that is looking for a job, our federal government is hiring. It's hiring big time. Right now, I know there's a freeze, but go ahead and apply because it's not a freeze in every agency. And there's a lot. So if maybe you used to work in for the government or a state government, you've got some special skills. Our country needs conservative people. Our country needs conservative people to help them out. It's just a thought, just a thought. Trump has, let's see, I did that one. Missouri law requiring voter ID has been upheld by a county circuit judge. This is very good. Very good. Missouri law requiring voter ID is upheld. Might not be the end of that one, but for now, we'll take the win, right? Totally, we'll take the win. And here is an interesting story. On Twitchy, which is like from, Town Hall and Epic Times, outright money laundering. I'm going to post this thing because this is crazy. This is the sneaky, underhanded things that Biden is doing. Oh, your daughter got, oh, cool, a VA job today. Cool. I'm so happy for her, Karen. Congratulations. Tell her congratulations. I am happy because, we do need good conservatives working at all levels of our federal government. Frankly, even our state, but good luck with that. That's wonderful. Now, this story. The headline is outright money laundering. Oilfield Rando notes the EPA has shut down $20 billion that Biden tried to hide. So, what happened is there was Solar for All was one of 3 programs under the 2022 Climate Law Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. And when Trump shut all the money off, nobody could get this. So people started calling and going, where's my money? We've got to, wait a minute, we've got this EPA online grant management portal, and it's called the Automated Standard Application for Payment. Well, on Wednesday, more than 12 hours after the federal judge temporarily blocked Trump's expansive freeze, recipients were granted, people had been asking, going, where's my money? Where's my money? Well, then they found out about $20 billion. $20 billion. This is the only one that still has funds at the U.S. Treasury, and the U.S. Treasury had put it in an IRA. One IRA slush fund down, and it was in Citibank. It appears, I'm quoting from this Oilfield Rando on X, but it appears Biden's EPA stashed $20 billion in other green slush funds with Citibank before leaving office to keep it from being rescinded. That's outright money laundering, he says. Well, so with the shutdown, I can just hear it now. Hey, we've got the money today, the shutdown, wham. They go, what? No. And the bank goes, sorry, I can't do anything with that money. $20 billion. This is not monopoly money. This is real money. Real money. And so two had said their EPA program managers had cut off contact. There's just more with this, but I'll tell you, there you are. The EPA was stashing money under Biden, $20 billion. So that's just like crazy. It's so crazy to do that. I will post this in our, I already did there. Yeah. And then one last story. This is from PJ Media, and it's a sad story. It's a sad story because it's in Southern California, and it is regarding Pacific Palisades. So this article by Stephen Green yesterday, Goodbye Pacific Palisades, Hello Full Communism. Well, the governor, or the mayor, I'm sorry, pardon me, the mayor, Karen Bass, has said, we're going to hire a special property manager, you could call it, she said, to oversee the rebuilding of Pacific Palisades. So she is interdicting in between the landowner and their insurance company to say, yeah, my house burned to the ground. This is what I'm going to pay you. And then you go rebuild it. And she is interdicting in between that. Now, I come from a family of builders. This is something I know about. And there's going to be a consultant that all of the owner's reps will have to deal with. And they're going to oversee the work of the various agencies involved. This is crap. This is crap for these people. The mayor, this should be nothing that she should be able to do with that. I realize there is widespread loss. That happens. It's sad. But to do this, I think, and then I've read another story. It's not in here. It doesn't talk about it in here, but I had read another story that they had changed the zoning laws about 2 years before this fire, and they put it in multi-level, residential, units. So instead of these, sprawling single-family homes, now you need to put in some multi-unit. And so some of these people, and I will tell you, some of these people are gone forever. And many could be gone forever. You must have a lot of money to try to rebuild. It's not just, well, my insurance is going to cover it. I'll get all new stuff. Not when you have to, if you have insurance that is replacement value, including code upgrades, you could be sitting very well. I don't know. But if you just have the cheapest policy you can have, you are going to be, you probably are never rebuilding, and a lot of what you would call the wealthy in that area, it might look real wealthy, and yet they're hawked to the hilt. I was reading about the Bidens as they were leaving office, and there was an article on the properties that they own. They don't own anything. The bank owns it all. And if you have it paid off, you own it. But if you are hawked to the hilt, and something that the Bidens continually did about every year or two, they would refinance their property. So they were pulling all the cash out and just make the payment, just make the payment. Just make that payment as long as they have the money to make the payment. They don't really own anything. The bank owns it all. And so you think some of the property owners wanted a special, I'm reading your comment, Carol, to make sure the government doesn't siphon money off. But the thing is, if the government can't siphon money off, if you have a contractor, you don't put the government in the middle here. You have a disaster and you hire the contractor and you say, this is what I want redone. Build the same footprint, but it's going to cost a lot, And so I don't know. I don't think it's a good deal with the mayor saying that's what they're doing. I'm never in favor of the government in between the private citizen and their property. It's not going to be good because they are going to be siphoning some money off. Now, there was people when Trump had the meeting, somebody had said, hey, make Rick Grenell the special oversight guy. Now, there I would have trusted it. But something that the mayor is doing, I don't think so. I don't think so. So, well, Pat, I see, it will happen again. Well, it happened before, but it was 60 years. And so by rebuilding now, there's nothing left to burn. It's all the brush is cleared. You're not in fire danger any longer, but your fire insurance will be astronomical. Hey, guys and gals. Thanks for joining me tonight. I've enjoyed the comments, and I hope you've learned a little something, given you a little food for thought. And I'll tell you, he's the man, and we are winning bigly. It's so exciting. I'm so thankful that we've got somebody that's riding the ship, and he has the cojones to do it, and the people that he is surrounding him with, it appears, do as well. So have a great weekend, and we'll be back next week. I think Kevin will be back next week. I'm not sure. He is out of town, but I haven't talked to him, so I don't know. And just, keep those, the first responders, the airplane victims, and their families in your prayers. And I hope we don't have any more airplane accidents. Good night. Take care.